Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. So if you didn't see today's new video, head over and check it out. I cover a lot of stuff in it, some really interesting new UFO footage, some shout outs to other great UFO researchers, and a lot more. So head over and check today's other new video out. But I wanted to post this video here showing you something new that you may have never seen from way back in the day in the Insomnia file vault. But before we get to that, I want to show you guys a couple of pieces of footage here that just hit the web, and well, let's take a look at them and see what you think. And so this clip that you are seeing here was sent over to me, and it's definitely of an object that it appears to be sitting static in the sky. And what static means is that it's not moving, it's not turning, it's not shaking or wobbling back and forth like a balloon or a kite or a drone or something like that. Whatever this is, it seems to stay in the exact same position at a what looks like a really high altitude. So take a look.
¿Qué es eso? Y para decir que es un cometa está totalmente estático en el cielo, totalmente estático. ¡Ay, Dios! ¿Será verdad lo que estoy viendo? Pasó un caninazo, un seguro por ahí. Ve, estamos aquí en Medellín, mira. Ve. Ubicarlo, allá está. Estático, totalmente estático, no se mueve. Nada, no se mueve. ¿Qué es eso?
Okay, so very intriguing footage. Now, my first inclination was to say, well, it kind of could be, it looks like maybe a kite. But I've flown a kite before, and we all know that kites depend on the wind, and they blow back and forth. They soar up and down. This thing seems to be just sitting straight in the air, and as the cameraman zooms out, this thing looks to be pretty high up in the sky for a kite. Not to mention the fact that these kites depend on air in order to stay in flight, so they're constantly moving around, twisting, and we see none of that here. This object looks to stay in the exact same position the entire time. So I'm stumped. I have no idea. You guys tell me what you think down below. And also, I even looked at this the best I could to up the contrast, lower the brightness, increase the gamma, just to see if I could find any strings or wires or anything like that are attached to this object. And as you're seeing here, and as I went through this entire video frame by frame, I did not see anything that looked like a string or a wire. Maybe one of you guys can do a better job than me, but I ran this thing through After Effects, Photoshop, Camtasia, through various colors, and I don't see a thing. So very intriguing. Tell me what you think. Now, the next piece of footage has been out now for a couple of weeks, and it was during one of the space launches. I don't think it was SpaceX. I think it was the other private space company, but they launched up into space, and this amazing UFO footage came out where it looks like a fleet of 30 to 50, maybe even 100 of these small white dots are floating together in formation through space. And here is that footage. So pretty amazing. This was posted all over Reddit, all over the other UFO research channels, and the reason I didn't post it is because I did some digging, and I've seen this before, and what I'm about to tell you may be the case here, it may not be. But someone said that what we're seeing here are actually fishing boats, that we are seeing at night, and that we're not actually looking out into space with this camera. What we're seeing is the Earth down below. We are seeing the ocean at night, and all of these little white dots are nothing more than a fleet of fishing vessels that are being passed over by, at a very high rate of speed, by this spacecraft looking down on the Earth. And so it's not as if these things are flying by the spacecraft, but more the spacecraft passing by them. So that could be one option. However, others have stated, well, what appear to be stars are in the background here. What are all of those? Could they be cities down on Earth being lit up? I'm not so sure. They definitely do look like stars, but if you look at other like International Space Station footage, it's totally black. You can't see a single star, and that's because of the exposure and the brightness of the recording. But maybe this video here and the camera being used had a much lower brightness setting within the camera itself, so it would be able to pick up stars easier. And what we are seeing here is actually a fleet of something passing by. The Lord knows we've seen our fair share of legit ISS, Space Shuttle, and Apollo mission footage of fleets of things and just single objects passing by in space doing amazing maneuvers. So yeah, the jury is still out on this one, at least in my opinion. You guys tell me what you think down below. And without further ado, here is an old school Insomnia Files video about an image that some have said is quite possibly the only true or real or legit image ever captured of an actual alien being. So I hope you guys enjoy this throwback. Be sure to check out today's other new video, and I will see you guys back in just a bit. Does the faded image that you're looking at here depict one of the only legitimate pre-digital era photos of another alien being? Well, a Brazilian man who, during his abduction, this very photograph was snapped, would tell you emphatically yes. But first, let's get into a little of the history behind this photograph and where it came from. Now, the actual photograph itself is held within a well-known collection, a collection that has been said by many to be the greatest UFO archive in history. The photograph itself, among thousands of others, were recently in 2017 put on exhibition as a part of something called Conspiracy Week at the Photographer's Gallery in England. The exhibition pulled together the extensive archives of the pioneering Lieutenant Colonel Wendell C. Stevens, who's one of the most famous UFO researchers who, after leaving the U.S. Air Force, dedicated his life to the study of extraterrestrials and UFOs. And with Mr. Stevens having passed away, the exhibition, containing over 400 slides of research and photography, offers an unbiased insight into the world of the notorious UFO hunter. Now, this particular photo here is among a group of a couple other photographs taken by a man who had been abducted on a November night in 1982. And the entity seen within one of the photographs, an amiable creature from outer space called Rama, who is the protagonist in a little-known abduction case that supposedly occurred in the Brazilian city of Botucatu in the early 1980s. Now, we don't know much about this, but what we do know is that a Brazilian man by the name of João Valerio de Silva and his eldest son were abducted by this alien Rama on a regular basis and taken to its home planet with the goal of repopulation. In fact, the diehard researcher Mr. Stevens even devoted a book to this, and had also reproduced several atmospheric photographs depicting a shadowy humanoid-looking figure whom the claimants said was their extraterrestrial friend Rama. There was even a peculiar photo of the lower half of De Silva's face featuring his bushy mustache that was said to have been taken by Rama himself. It was said that due to the rising frequency with which these abductions would take place, Mr. De Silva was known to hide a small camera on his person so that possibly one day he would be able to sneak a photo or two once he was taken to this alien planet. Now, unfortunately, we only have two photographs. One of the actual alien that you're seeing here, and another one that again was said to have been taken on another alien planet, where we can see what appears to be some sort of craft or solid object back in the distance, would appear to be rocks in between, and another shadowy figure here in the foreground. Now, in this single case, and there are many like this,
we have a number of surprising elements which would be patently impossible for this witness to hoax, while at the same time there were a number of witnesses who testify to their validity. The abductee was said to have been contacted many times, more than 20, and that he had been taken away from Earth at least 5 times. Not only had he been taken to other planetary bodies in space, but he had said that he had witnessed other people from Earth, both aboard the spacecraft and on another planet. After many of these abductions, Mr. Volino's recollections would be hazy, sometimes remembering nothing until he saw the flying disc with its occupants, quote, disappearing in a manner as rapidly and strange as their arrival, with a brilliantly radiant mass of red light ascending with a magnificent speed before being lost in the skies above. Now, it's also said that he was given artifacts and substances, some of which he brought back to Earth and actually had tested and analysis done by professional laboratories, which showed them to be, quote, unearthly material beyond our capability to produce. He claimed that the ETs showed him scenes from our future, including catastrophes on our planet and things which he was forbidden to discuss. But what he would say is that what he saw and what his experience taught him was that a new world of prospects should be opened, such as discussion of reincarnation, the incarnation of ETs in Earth bodies, along with the suggestion that long-term ongoing contacts exist between planetary societies. To this day, the so-called UFO abduction at Batu Katu remains one of the most interesting cases in all of ufology, and its photographs, specifically this one here, one of the rare gems that is part of a famous UFO archive collection, and that very well may show one of the only, if not the only, photograph known to man, or at least to the public, depicting an actual alien being. And so with that, you guys tell me what you think down below. Have you heard of this case? And do you have similar cases that you'd like me to do videos on in the future? Let me know down below, send me an email or a message on Twitter, and I'd definitely love to hear more. So thanks again, guys. Be sure to subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll see you all back in just a bit.